Welcome back to the PouncerAI Freelancer Education Series. I am Jerod Morris here with Pouncer CEO and founder Sean Jackson, and we are now on the last lesson in our intermediate series. And previously, we talked about how to maximize your success rate. Once you find the jobs that you're really excited to apply for, what are some little tips, little tricks that you can do to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward? And today, Sean, we're going to talk about something big that you can do, especially as you move forward and you're getting jobs and you're having successful jobs, and that is building a winning project portfolio. And so let's start with this question. How many jobs should you be including how many past projects should you be including in your project portfolio?
As many as relevant to what you do that are okay. and I'll explain why. When you submit a proposal, one of the things that you can do is attach a portfolio item to it. Okay. And depending on what you do, you're going to want to have that best portfolio item that matches what they're looking for attached to that proposal. All right. Because especially if, let's say, you're a graphic designer or you're something that there's a very visual element to it, clients will appreciate you attaching that, especially if it directly or very closely aligns with what they need. So it's the challenge is that it's just kind of a pain in the butt to create up a portfolio item. Okay. It does take a little bit of time and effort, but the payoff is the fact that you stand out. This is one thing that we talk a lot about at the community site, is that with so many freelancers on Upwork, you have to stand out, and standing out is doing things better than your competition. And one way to clearly stand out is just create a compelling portfolio. Now, at a minimum, you need 3 items at a minimum. I prefer to have as many portfolio items that capture the essence of what we do. Now, to me, there are different strategies for it, by client or by type of work. Those are some things. So I think you don't have to kill yourself with portfolios, but the more the better, that if you're really trying to get in there and give clients something that they look at and go, that's what I want, that's what I need.
So what are some best practices now? I'm going in to create a portfolio item. What are some best practices in terms of description and how I'm structuring and presenting that?
I tell you what, let's get into it and let me show you.
Let's do it.
So this is the co-founder of PouncerAI, my partner, Daniel Reiling, and this is some of the portfolio items that we have put together for him. So I want to point out one thing very, very important, that these thumbnails actually appear throughout the Upwork experience for clients. Okay. This is a 4:3 aspect ratio. You want these to look professional. Okay. This is something I see so many portfolios where they're a screenshot or they're kind of, a mishmash of things. And let me go through why this is important. Because you are trying to show, especially in mobile design, which is what we excel at, is I understand usability. Okay. I understand good layout. Well, if your portfolio doesn't reflect that, well, then, so what, right? You may be a great mobile app developer, but if it doesn't look good, no one's going to use your mobile app. So we spend a lot on, crafting that first image. And at a 4:3 aspect ratio, we want to make sure that our branding is there, right? That's either our studio name or it's our individual name. We want to show the product in the best light possible. We want to show what this product is. Now, there's a couple of different approaches. We could just call it a fitness app, which is what it is. And then what does this fitness app do? Then you can include in all the other items that go with this. And as you can tell, we have a fairly standardized template that we use for mobile apps that include our background, our branding, and compelling visual elements. We also want to make sure that we take full advantage of everything that we have here in the project description and the skills and deliverables that it was related to. Again, very important, because we want to tell our story and we want Upwork to know what that story is for their search and matching algorithms that are out there. The other reason that this is so important, let me go down here, is that you'll notice that this Proxys app, which we did, I'll put it right there. This Proxys app is actually associated to a job on Upwork that we got a 5-star review on. Okay. This was, again, a fairly a large job. We had to build an app. It had Bluetooth detection. It's basically, if you're on a hiking trail, you won't get hit because you can have the app. It'll tell you when somebody's coming close to you. We did this job. And of course, we have a compelling graphic. We wanted to, brand it ourselves, and we associated it with this project right there. And this is so important. When you ask me about the portfolio and why I say you should have as many as possible, is because if I am a person looking to hire a freelancer and I see Bluetooth app development and I can go read the project beyond this great, awesome review that we've got, that's pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
That means that now there is more believability in what I'm doing. I'm building my authority. In fact, our problem is we haven't put enough portfolio items in. All of these jobs should have them in there. I'll give you another great case in point. This is one of our users of PouncerAI, and he is obviously new onto Upwork. But he's taking these skills and look at his portfolio pieces tied to the few jobs that he's done, right? Look at this right here. Now, again, good, strong design. He's branded it, his name, okay? And this is also important because we have seen people steal our portfolio images and claim they did it, okay? So
Really?
oh yeah. Because, a lot of people don't want to put in the time, effort to do a good quality piece. So they'll just take something that we've done, stripe it, try to take out our branding, and then claim it as their own.
Jeez.
Absolutely happens. There's some great freelancers on Upwork, Jerod. There's some that have very questionable ethics.
And the advice that you just gave is so important. And I think it really underscores an idea. I don't know who originated with this quote, but there's an old saying, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, that really shines through when you're talking about how you present and organize your past projects. I mean, number one, just, okay, what has this person done? How is this received? But also, how is it presented? Are they someone that pays attention to details? Are they someone that cares about, how things look and the quality of what they're doing? And I don't think you're going to have a whole lot of credibility, like you said, if you just kind of slap a screenshot up there. It's like, well, that's just my own thing. It doesn't really matter. But for you, I'm really going to pay attention to the details and do everything right. Even if that's never said, again, we've talked a lot about the psychology of the people looking to hire you. And this is one of those little things that may seem small, but is actually very significant.
Yeah. I mean, it's building trust. I mean, let's get down to the crux of the matter. How do you build trust? Because here is a complaint clients will have. There are a lot of people that are experts on, Upwork. And you get in and you work with them and they overpromise, under deliver, or they say they're doing one thing and they sub it out to somebody else. I mean, there is a trust deficit that often exists in these type of marketplaces. Okay. Yeah. So how you present yourself as a professional actually matters, right? Part of that is being open about what you do and what you are good at, and then presenting it in a professional way. And what's the difference between a professional and a non-professional? Professionals show up and, to the meeting prepared. Professionals pay attention to the details. Professionals look at the material they're presenting. They're not just slapping things together and saying, hey, this is what I did. If you want to hire me, go in. They're like presenting themselves in a manner that builds confidence, and through that builds trust. That's what you got to do, is build trust, because you can charge more if people trust you more.
Just going to leave a little silence to underscore that point, because it's a great one. What else, Sean, do people need to know here when it comes to past projects, how you organize them, how you present them, how you match projects to opportunities? What else do people need to know?
Yeah, so I'll go back through a basic strategy, which is you can, in this particular case, he is choosing to, every project he's doing, he's trying to associate a portfolio item with that. Absolutely very, very important. Another strategy to use is, let's just go back into this one. This is a better one. He is basically saying, if you need this solution set, Elementor, LearnDash, WooCommerce, I have done something like this. Okay. This is what I call a category portfolio piece. So what he is doing is he's saying, if you need this, Elementor and LMS, here's my piece that I can attach to it. They're putting in lots of information. And this is something else that I think you have to do is you need to put in lots of good screenshots, show off your work. Clients actually appreciate this. They can get a lot of understanding of how you work based on the screenshots you present. And by the way, screenshots work for everything. Okay. And I'm telling you, let's say you're a data analyst, you're a writer, Jerod. How would you present your work? You put it on a laptop screen from the blog site that you put the thing on there, right? So they could actually read it. They could see it in context. And one of the nice things to help you get those type of images is this site called shots.so. It's a free mock-up site, okay? So you can go through and start putting in mock-ups of your work. So I don't care what you do as a freelancer. I really don't. There is a mock-up. There is a way to present that. Graphic designers have it easy, right? They know what they're doing. But for the rest of us humans, how do we present our work? How do we present copyright? How do we present data analysis? Well, you take the data analysis and you stick it on a screen on a really nice background with your name and what the heck you did. Yeah. And now you have a portfolio piece that stands out so that when someone is coming into your profile, they're looking at this going, I mean, you don't know anything about Ken. Does this guy look like a professional? Does he look like a quality person that does good work? Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he's got it. I mean, he just looks like someone who knows what they're doing, who gives a crap about what they're doing. And obviously he does it quite well. Hence he's gotten some really good, reviews.
Yeah, and let me add a bit of clarity because we've used the term screenshot in a couple of different ways. What we're saying is don't just take, the screenshot on your computer where you do the control F and it's a real quick screenshot. Like you use the term mock-up there. You actually make it look nice and make it look professional, have a consistent branding. So I just want to be clear because we've used that term a couple different ways.
Yeah. And I think this is where, again, this is Sasha, who is, again, he's a data analyst. And I'm picking on him. I don't mean to, Sasha. He's a really good data analyst. And he actually benefits from the fact that his particular, what he does is he is very data intensive, right? And so like most people, he did a screenshot, right, of his work. And this particular project, I know something about it. I was actually impressed with it. Now, here's the thing. Anyone could steal this screenshot and put it on their profile. Anyone could. Okay. So what would make it better? What would make it better is to take this, which is a very, actually, it's an important slide if you know anything about Facebook and capping, et cetera. He could put this on a beautiful little background, which he's going to do, where he's going to have it branded to himself so that his name and what this screen actually means. Now, the other screens in here, these are perfectly fine, right? You can have multiple screens and they don't all have to be as designed. But if I'm looking for a data analyst, who do I want to have? Yeah, I really care about this information, but I care about how it is presented to me because now I am more compelled to look at his piece versus every other data analyst that does the same exact thing. This is what I want to end with. You need to be unique and you need to stand out. Yes, the data that he's doing needs to be clearly shown, but that first impression, how you stand out from everybody else, that matters. That's why that first image on your portfolio needs to grab their attention so that they're compelled to look more into what you have done to make it an experience that builds that trust that we know is so important.
Yeah, it's not to say that you couldn't get any jobs if you aren't paying attention to all of these details. But we're here in the intermediate series. We are trying to help people maximize their time, maximize the jobs that they get. And that's where these little details start adding up. And as you start going up and you're competing for more jobs and you're trying to improve that conversion rate, this is all the stuff that matters. Every little bit adds up. And that's what we want to help people do is put you in the best position to succeed to the maximum of your ability.
That's right. Because once you get to a certain level, you have built a foundational layer that you're not going to have to work as hard. But this is true in life, right? You do all that early work in the early part of your life, and you're building these foundations so that as you get older, it doesn't get as hard, right? Because you have that foundation. It's the same that is true with Upwork. When you're first starting Upwork, it's miserable. It's hard, but it was hard for everybody. Okay. Then you get to the intermediate side. You're building a reputation. You're making some money. Okay. But remember, I don't care how much money you've made on the platform. There are people that have more jobs and made more. The number one guy on Upwork, by the way, is a WordPress developer. He's made $10 million from the platform. Okay. So I'm just telling you, there is a ways to go, and there will always be someone who has, different than you are. You need to be unique, and then you can start to move that pricing up, because if you're following all these steps so far, you're getting to a point where now you can justify increasing the amount that you charge clients, not what's on your profile. I mean, you can use that. We talk a lot about using that as a marketing tool, not as, what you actually charge people. But when you're having those conversations with clients, especially on complex ones, when you're giving them a price, they're not flinching as much, because they're like, I'm dealing with a professional. I'm going to have to pay for this expertise if I want the results that I'm looking for.
And that's great, because as we talked about in a previous lesson, pricing is positioning. Those are the type of clients that you want.
That's
so you
right.
got to put yourself in a position to get them. Sean, I think that's a great point to end the intermediate series on, but we're not done. We have the advanced series coming up, and we have some lessons prepared that are going to help people master high value client acquisition. Because as you said, there's rungs to this, and you can keep going up. You can keep getting better. You can keep getting better jobs from higher value clients. That's what we're going to talk about next. Stick with us. Those lessons are to come.